With 4 out of the 6 composers reprising their jobs in creating the God of War 2 soundtrack, the orchestrated music comes back in full force. Gerard K. Marino reprises his assistance as the lead composer for the soundtrack. I can say that the music is mostly new, with some that are reused or remixed to fit the times of the game. It's still pretty classy with its Philharmonic sounds in the compositions. The sound effects from the previous game are back as well, so it's nothing new. Voice acting, on the other hand, plays a very strong staple this time around. Terrence C. Carson comes back as Kratos once more, and it is never tiring to listen to him get all enraged and furious. Linda Hunt comes back as the narrator, who is revealed to be the Titan leader, Gaia. Corey Burton plays Zeus with great success to Paul Eating from the last game. But the biggest surprise is that Michael Clark Duncan from The Green Mile lends his voice as the Titan, Atlas. Such a great movie actor to play the role as a minor character? That's pretty awesome, and I hope that he comes back for God of War 3. As always, the music is great, the sound effects are decent with some new additions, and the voice acting is still as top-notch as the first game. This development process of God of War 2 took lesser time to make, but more over-the-top work. Cory Barlog wasn't as vengeful and wrathful as David Jaffe, but his temper was still hot no less. Everything was coming down to the point that E3 2006 was going to be the kicker on getting something that would define the sequel to God of War. That gameplay feature was the improved combat and the aspects of riding Pegasus through the skies of ancient Greece. Just 4 weeks before God of War 2 was slated to have an E3 demo, the first meeting to showcase the whole demo was left unpolished, with many glitches in the combat, movement, and environments. After that, Santa Monica Studios put in so much effort to fix those problems, but the Pegasus gameplay was left with some more glitches that needed to be fixed. With only 2 weeks left, the development team puts in more overtime and an exhausting effort to get things done, and the final build of the demo left a happy face on everyone. God of War 2 was showcased on the E3 2006 show floor with universal praise of people thinking that the sequel is going to surpass the first game, and how right they are. For more information on the development history, check out the behind-the-scenes videos and development diaries of the game in the extra section. God of War 2 seems like a candidate for the best video game sequel of all time, but just because the game has more polish doesn't mean it is safe from a couple of snags. While the combat is much more improved, it would have been nice to see a bit more quick-time events to showcase more gameplay than before. I know there are new ones like the battle against Icarus and the jumping between the stone poles in the forest, but I feel it was more of the same from the last game. Also, half of the enemies are recycled from the previous game with only a few new ones. That is considered a big pet peeve of mine, as I wish to see more than what we got from the previous game. While these complaints are minor, I still have a soft side for this game no less. It's true about me having a soft spot for God of War 2 because there are so many things that leaped in as a huge improvement over the first game. The number one thing that I felt that the game succeeded in was the polish in the controls and the battle animations. I feel like Kratos was trying something new with his moves than reusing the same animation from the special abilities in the previous game. The Cyclone of Chaos was more offensively protective and less defenseless this time around. I really enjoyed the gameplay with riding Pegasus and fighting against Icarus down to the pits of Hades. It felt like there was more to the gameplay than constantly reusing the same format. What I particularly liked more about the game was the fact that you only had 4 melee weapons to choose from. I had so much fun playing with the Blade of Olympus in the first playthrough, and I wish that it was something that I could constantly use in the whole game. That wish came true when I played the game through its second run. The Spear of Destiny was really good for ranged attacks like the Athena Blades, and the Barbarian Hammer was really good for unleashing brutality on your enemies. The design aspect of the game was just amazing, as it felt more like a fantasy than something that constantly looked drab-like in the original. Whether if it is traveling through the forest on the island to traversing through the final temple before reaching your destination, the environment showed more dynamic than ever before. Even the story felt more serious and grim than the previous game. I liked how the backstory of the Titans falling to the gods during the Titanomachy was explained, and how Zeus rose to darkness and became a malevolent deity. It is a great tale, and the ending only makes you wish for the third game to come along. Finally, the music and sound were decent, the concept was very straightforward and linear, the content was vast in what you could obtain, and the replay value is valiantly higher than before. A better game? Yes. Best one yet? That's something I'm still unsure about. God of War 2 is a successful sequel to David Jaffe's own creation of the franchise, and it is one of Sony's biggest titles to grace the presence of the PlayStation 2. Most people might consider this game as the swan song of the PS2, and they are right about that, as the PS2 is coming to an end very soon. No matter if you played the original or in the HD format on the PS3, God of War 2 is another entry that you do not want to miss out on. God of War 2 leaves me anticipating the next title, and this game receives a near perfect 9 out of 10. God of War 2 may be the swan song of the PlayStation 2 era, but at least it's a game that deserves its rights to be in the realm of high definition. And I definitely think God of War 2 surpasses the original with flying colors, with its intuitive gameplay and breathtaking visuals. So overall, a very fun blast. Well, that concludes the God of War collection on the PlayStation 3, but don't think this is over yet, guys. Tune in next time as we take a look at Part 3 as we see Ready at Dawn's own take on the God of War franchise with the PSP prequel, God of War Chains of Olympus. So stay tuned, we're almost done.